Coming up at 4:30, one of President Biden's cabinet members is facing impeachment. What are the next steps after the House started the process? Marvel Studios is bringing back a popular character for the new Deadpool. The teaser was released and we have a first look. And the UCO baseball team won big against UCentral at home yesterday. Mark Lowe will have your play-by-play in sports. And finally, today is Valentine's Day. How the world is celebrating the people and pets they love. All of this and more happening right now on UCentral News.
Live from Central Oklahoma, this is UCentral News.
Good evening, I'm Emma Birch.
And I'm Shanice Hopkins. Welcome to this edition of UCentral News. Breaking news this afternoon, Kansas City was hosting their victory parade when shots were fired from a garage and 2 people were taken into custody, but it is unclear if the altercation was meant to target the crowd. It is reported that 1 person is dead, 15 are injured. The University Health Truman Medical Center received 5 people from Union Station, 3 of them with gunshot wounds and the other 2 in critical condition being treated for non-gunshot injuries. So far, no more information has been released.
For the first time in nearly 150 years, a cabinet member faces an impeachment trial. That's after a large party line vote in the House last night. Amy Kiley reports on what happens next.
Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas faces a trial in the Senate. That's after the House impeached him by a single vote yesterday. Republicans accused Mayorkas of violating immigration laws.
The Senate really ought to take seriously the message that was sent is that we're serious about securing the border, and the Secretary's failed to do his job.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is signaling the impeachment trial will be brief. Democrats control the chamber and are likely to acquit Mayorkas. Many legal experts say the evidence doesn't reach the high bar for impeachment. One of 3 House Republicans who voted against impeaching Mayorkas says he agrees.
I prosecuted for 25 years. I know what a high crime and misdemeanor are, and I know that this doesn't qualify. This is a policy difference.
Representative Ken Buck also argues impeachment should be bipartisan to maintain public trust in Congress.
We need to take the temperature down.
Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries says instead of voting on Mayorkas, Congress should be voting on border legislation. Republicans say they'd like that if Democrats met all their demands. Jeffries argues a Senate bill that meets some of them is better than nothing.
It's urgently necessary that we act in America's national security to bring this bipartisan bill to the floor.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
This impeachment vote follows a similar one that failed last week with the same 3 Republicans opposing it. Scalise's return from medical leave is how it passed, this time by 1 vote.
Jared Kushner is out of the politics business and has no plans to return. Donald Trump's son-in-law says he wouldn't serve in a second Trump administration. When he worked in the White House, he was a senior advisor with a hand in several agenda items, including the border wall, relations with China, and the coronavirus response. Kushner has since opened his own private equity firm in Miami. He says he is focusing on that and keeping his family out of the spotlight.
The city of Edmond held a special election yesterday and the results are in. District 39 seat will be filled by Republican Eric Harris after a close race with Democrat Reagan Raff. The seat had to be filled after Representative Ryan Martinez resigned after pleading guilty to a DUI. Edmond also overwhelmingly passed a $147 million bond package for their schools. The first portion will go to building a brand new elementary and middle school. The second part of it will go to buying brand new buses and vehicles. And if you are outside today, your hair is probably not as good as mine because I just went back and recurled it after the wind screwed it up. Let's toss over to Destiny Pittman for our first look at weather. Destiny?
Yes, guys, it is very, very windy outside. The winds are blowing south at about 31 miles per hour, so that is very windy. Though it is windy, the sun is still out. It's a pretty fair day. It's pretty warm. Currently, it's about 68 degrees, so that's really nice. And then it isn't too humid either. Humidity rate is 36%. And then it does feel like 65 degrees. And then moving on into tonight. So tonight, temperatures are going to drop down a little. So if you're going to be out for Valentine's Day, you might want to put on a light jacket because it's going to be about 41 degrees, but it will be clear and there isn't any chance of rain. Humidity rate is still going to be about 36%, but then it is going to be very windy still. Winds will slow down a little bit. They'll be south 8 to about 15 miles per hour, but every once in a while there will still be those really strong gusts of winds that are up to 23 miles per hour. That's all for now. I'll have your 7-day forecast after the break. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Destiny. Tomorrow, February 15th, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., Ayers Kitchen is hosting an Experience a Day filled with free giveaways, a showcase of vibrant campus organizations. New menu items will be featured as well. And don't worry, if you miss the event tomorrow, Thursday, February 22nd, is a DIY tea bar from 11:30 to 1 p.m.
An Introduction to Reference Management course will take place tonight from 5 to 6 p.m. The course is for students wanting to improve their research organization management and will teach students how to use tools such as EndNote, Mendeley, and Zotero. They will also show students how to improve their references, notes, and citations within their programs. It will take place in room 226 of the NI and will also be via Zoom. It's a stellar tag event and there's no registration required. And with Valentine's today, it's quite windy outside.
Yes, it is very much so windy. It surprised me, actually.
So nice, 60 degrees. We'll toss it over to Destiny Pittman after the break for a full look at weather. Stay with us.
Happy birthday! Make a wish.
Miss you guys.
Blue skies smiling at me, talking about blue skies. Do I see? Bluebirds singing a song, talking about blue skies from now on.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those barbecues you plan in detail for your family? Or your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Are you really sure this is all going to fit?
Oh, it'll fit. I got that.
All right.
When hauling anything, ensure it's secure. Losing your load is dangerous for all drivers. We want everyone to make it home safe. Help make Oklahoma safe by securing your load.
Welcome back, guys. I'm here to give you your full forecast for weather. So we can start with the temperatures statewide tonight. We see up in the Panhandle, it's going to be very, very cold, about 25 degrees. As we look across the state, though, we can see a lot of 30s, 40s, even some 50s for tonight. So it is going to be a colder night compared to what we have been seeing. Up in Woodward, about 31, 35 in Clinton, 37 in Altus. As we start to move towards this part of the state, we can see it warms up a little. 42 in Lawton, 44 Ardmore, 42 in the Oklahoma City, Edmond area. So like I said, you might want to have a light jacket if you will be out tonight. 46 McAllister, 44 Tulsa. Enid is the warmest part, about 58 degrees tonight, and then up in Ponca City, another colder area, about 37. And then as we see up in Miami, it is going to be about 41 degrees. So we see a lot of cooler temperatures tonight, and statewide, the wind is going to be pretty strong. And then for the current temperature statewide, we see it is very warm. We can see that the temperatures will drop later on today, though. But it's pretty warm, a lot of 60s, even some 70s. Up in the Panhandle, pretty warm at 70 degrees. 68 in Oklahoma City, Edmond area. So like I said, a nice warm day. Pretty sunny, but still we have those really, really high gust of winds. But as we move on, we can see that our 7-day forecast, we will have a lot of sun coming up this upcoming week. As we move on, we can see that for Thursday tomorrow, it's going to be about 62 degrees, so it's going to be pretty warm, and it's going to also be sunny. But as we move on to Friday, some clouds will come in. Temperature is going to be about 52, but then the low is going to be 23, so that is going to be another colder night. We can see some pretty low lows throughout the week. And then for the weekend, luckily the sun will be coming back out. Saturday, about 44 for our high. It is a little colder, though, about 44 degrees, 30 for the low. But on Sunday, that temperature is going to start rising back up into early next week. So we see that Sunday it's going to be 57 degrees, nice and sunny, low 41. And then on Monday, the clouds will come in a little, but it still will be pretty warm, 63 degrees, 41 for the low. And then as we see Tuesday next week, it's going to be one of the warmer days we're seeing next week at 71 degrees. I know I'm a little sad that it's going to be a little colder tonight because I do have plans for tonight. Emma, Shanice, how are you guys feeling about those colder temperatures we're seeing tonight?
You know, I'm going to go home and sit in my bed, so that
nice.
doesn't sound too bad to me.
Right. I don't have any plans, so I'm okay with it.
That's good. That's good.
Coming up next, an upcoming movie just got cast, and how are fans reacting?
And Kanye released a new album, and fans are saying it's better than Taylor Swift. Sam Klosowski has more, and when we come back.
I was raised to believe in the power of possibility, to always move forward but never forget where I came from, to value hard work, ingenuity, and hospitality. On one hand, my people are rough and rugged. On the other, refined and elegant. They taught me how to love beautiful things and cherish my past, to seek out adventure, eat well, and to have a good time. So I keep their traditions alive every place I go. They call me Oklahoma City, but you can call me the modern frontier.
UCentral News as a whole, you got to be in those different areas, like being on camera, being off camera, being in the control room. And so I feel like that is what prepared me most about being in the workplace.
UCentral and the mass comm department has provided me all the tools and the fundamentals that are needed in order to thrive well and thrive fast at my job.
Maybe it's time to hit the road and visit a place where stories unfold. This is the land of the ultimate road trip, with sights old and new on Route 66. There's fun to be had, so much to do, and a few new surprises before you get through. Oklahoma has the most miles to share of Route 66. It's really quite rare. TravelOK.com will show you the way. Come see for yourself this iconic highway.
Welcome back, Broncos. I'm Sam Kozlowski with your social media update, so let's take a look at what's trending. Debuting during the Super Bowl, the highly anticipated third movie in the Deadpool saga has been announced. Marvel's foul-mouthed anti-hero is one of the brand's most iconic characters, and fans are excited to see what Ryan Reynolds has in store this time. Titled Deadpool and Wolverine, the latest in the saga sees the return of Hugh Jackman brandishing his iconic claws for one more go. The movie is set to release this summer, and it's safe to say fans cannot wait. The upcoming Fantastic Four movie has been pushed back to July 25th, 2025. Despite this unfortunate news for fans, Marvel Studios also announced the rest of their cast today. Now, we already knew that Pedro Pascal is going to be Mr. Fantastic, and actress Vanessa Kirby will be the Invisible Woman. Game of Thrones and Stranger Things actor Joseph Quinn is set to play as the Human Torch, and finally, the Bear actor Eben Moss-Bachrach will play as the Thing. Next up, Kanye West's album Vultures debuted last Friday and is currently #1 globally. This is the controversial rapper's first album since his 2020 release Donda, and during the album rollout over the weekend, Kanye spent $7 million on a Super Bowl commercial and $0 on production, advertising a new line of clothing for his brand Yeezy, which raked in $19 million after airing for some viewers. Let's take a look. And
it's my commercial, and since we spent all the money on the commercial spot, we actually didn't spend any money on the actual commercial. But the idea is I want you to go to Yeezy.com, YEEZY.com, and I'm gonna write it at the bottom of the screen, and I got some shoes, and
And finally today, we're going back to discussing film because Sony's Madam Web is absolutely flopping in the box office right now. The movie currently has a 17% on Rotten Tomatoes and 2.4 stars out of 5 on Google reviews. Shanice, Emma, are you guys fans of Marvel movies? And would you see a movie this bad just for fun?
You know, Sam, not only am I a huge Marvel fan, but I'm also a huge Spider-Man fan, so this might be a movie that I have to see in person just to get my own view on it.
Yeah, I am not much of a Marvel girl or anything like that, and I'm a person that if I'm going to go pay to go see a movie, and it better be good. You know what I'm saying? The reviews are just showing that I don't think I'm going to spend my money on that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Sam. Coming up in sports, baseball had a midweek game yesterday. How did they do?
And the Thunder got a much-needed win on the road last night. Mark Lowe has a breakdown of the game when we come back.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Spring sports are in full swing here at UCO, and our tennis team is off to a hot start to begin their season. The Lady Broncos opened the season with a dominant 6-1 win over Southwest Baptist on Friday. UCO won all 3 doubles matches early on to get the first point and 5 of 6 singles matches to secure the win. The Lady Chos are back in action on the road this week in San Angelo, Texas for a series of games. They start off on Friday against Lubbock Christian at 11 a.m., then they wrap up the weekend against San Angelo on Saturday. Now to the Diamonds. Softball had a great performance last week in the UCO OC Classic and are back tomorrow to host the Raising Cane's Festival. The Lady Broncos start off the festival against East Central tomorrow afternoon at 3. Lady Broncos have had a bit of an off start to the season, sitting at an even 4-4. The East Central Tigers play 1 game before they face the Broncos, so attrition may be key for the Broncos to find victory tomorrow. The Raising Cane's Festival will last all weekend at the Jerry Pinkson Stadium. On to the other dugout. Baseball had a midweek matchup yesterday against East Central, and they sent the Tigers home with their tails tucked. Let's start from the beginning. It was a long first inning for ECU as the Broncos kept pouring it on them, and by the time they got 3 outs, the Chos were up 6-0. After 3, the Broncos tacked on another 5 before Cameron Uselton hit an RBI single to put the cherry on top of the first half of the game. The Broncos were not done, and they added another 4 in the 5th and 2 more in the 6th to run roll ECU. The Broncos moved to 9-0 and are now ranked at number 20. They have a 2-game series against Oklahoma Christian this weekend. The first game is set to be played at the Wendell Simmons Field here in Edmond on Saturday at 3. Now to the court. Our women's team has had a rough season and look to turn things around on the road. The Lady Broncos started out against Nebraska Kearney on Saturday ahead of the men's team And in yet another rough outing, the Lady Chos got behind early on and just couldn't catch up, falling to the Lopers 61-82. They headed south to Hays, Kansas to take on Fort Hays State the next day. Lady Chos had a great first quarter, outscoring Fort Hays 21-10. In the second quarter, the script got flipped, where the Broncos only scored 12 to the Tigers 21, but still led 33-31 at the half. The second half, however, saw the Broncos start and stay slow, and the Tigers pulled ahead to win it 76-64. The pair of losses knocks the Lady Chos down to 5-18 on the season with 4 straight losses. They will stay home this week to take on Washburn on Saturday. The last meeting of the Chos and the Ichabods was a close one, where the Ichabods barely emerged on top 64-62. This matchup is set for Saturday at 1:30 at the Hamilton Fieldhouse. Finally, to the pros. The Thunder were on the road last night to Orlando, and they left Florida with all the magic. It was yet another high-scoring affair for the Thunder that saw both teams post over 30 points in the first quarter. The second quarter saw the Magic cool off while the Thunder kept the pressure up, and they led 60-52 headed into the half. The second half of the game was a high-scoring affair where Thunder forward Jalen Williams found his groove, scoring 33 in the affair, followed closely behind by Shea with 32 and 5 assists, and the Thunder pulled away with this one, 127-113. Sound like deja vu? That was the same score the Thunder beat the Kings by on Sunday. The Thunder are hoping that deja vu doesn't return tomorrow when they welcome the Clippers to the Paycom Center. The last matchup between these two was a dominant performance by the Clippers as they rolled past the Thunder 128-117. The Thunder are second place in the Western Conference, followed close behind by the Clippers, so this is going to be a big game. All the action starts tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Now, Emma, Shanice, the Thunder are finding their groove again, but you think they can really keep it going?
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's going to be, with the Clippers, it's going to be a revenge game. I always say that after we have a loss from a team, but we're dominant, we're young, we'll keep it going.
I really hope so, because if they're not able to keep that momentum up, it'd be pretty disappointing.
Definitely, especially with the number 2 spot right now.
Right. Coming up next, today is Valentine's Day, but when did this holiday become what we know it is today?
And Destiny Pittman will have your last look at weather when we come back.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Welcome back. Love is in the air. It's Valentine's Day. It's not just a holiday for significant others. You can show affection to friends, family, and of course, pets. Valentine's Day is believed to have started long ago. It derived from a feast for the patron saint, Valentine. Historians tell the story of one saint who married couples in secret to prevent men from going to war. In the 1400s, the day became associated with romance. People started writing letters and poems declaring their love and calling them Valentines. Today, some 180 million cards are exchanged each year, and florists ready nearly 2 million roses for the day. The average person is expected to spend more than $100 showering their loved ones with gifts. And if you guys are going out for Valentine's Day, we're going to toss it to Destiny with our last weather look.
Okay, so first we'll just start with our forecasts for tomorrow. So tomorrow morning, it's going to be pretty cool outside, about 42 degrees. There will be some clouds that will come in overnight, but there isn't going to be any rain in those clouds. That's going to be nice. And then around noon, it's going to warm up a little. The sun will come out, and it's going to be about 52 degrees. But again, we will still have those very, very high winds that we have been seeing throughout the week. And then later on, tomorrow night, it's going to be clear, so no rain or anything, but it's going to be about 63 degrees, so pretty warm. The temperatures will drop later on in the night, though. And then as we just go back, we can see that across the state tonight, it's going to be very cold. Like I said, if you have a Valentine's, you're going to be out tonight, make sure to have a light jacket with you because it is going to be pretty chilly and those winds are going to be very, very high. So again, also be careful and be cautious of those high winds. And we can see that statewide, currently it is warm, but don't get too used to it because, like I said, tonight the temperatures are going to drop. And then as we can see, again, the week ahead, a lot of sun, no rain, so that's very nice. We can see that this weekend especially, Saturday will be cold, but the sun is going to be out. And then Sunday, it is going to start to warm up. So about 57 for our high. Again, like I said, Sunday, 41 for the low. And then Monday, next week, the sun is going to go away for just a little bit on Monday. It's going to be about 63 degrees. But like I said, there won't be any rain. It's going to be pretty warm, 63 degrees, 41 for the low. And then as we move on into early next week, we can see that Tuesday, it's going to be nice and warm, so 71 degrees. So like I said, it's going to be a pretty nice week. We're seeing pretty warm temperatures minus Saturday for this upcoming week, so just get used to that because those temperatures are going to start warming up more as spring gets closer. And then as we move on, these are just some things that I want you to keep in mind for tonight. Just looking forward, like I said, the winds are going to be very high today and tonight. That'll also be tomorrow. It's going to be colder tonight, and then like I said, temperatures will rise next week. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Destiny. Well, from what her forecast looks like, if you're going out tonight, might want to grab a jacket. Just be prepared. It might be a little chilly.
Right. And I mean, it's kind of expected with how unpredictable Oklahoma weather is.
Definitely. And with this Valentine's, do you have any plans?
I do not have any plans for the rest of the night. My sorority passed out roses and affirmations in the night today, which was pretty nice. But I'm probably going to stay inside, eat a pint of ice cream, watch a movie by myself.
As you should. I'm actually driving home right after this to be with my family. My dad takes me, my mom, and my sister out as his Valentine, so I'm really excited to have that. So yeah, just spend time with my family.
Right, at least you have plans.
I mean, I would honestly rather, not to say, Mom, if you're watching, I would not rather hang out with you, but ice cream in bed sounds pretty good right now.
I think that's a good way to end my night.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Signing off, I'm Emma Birch.
And I'm Shanice Hopkins.
Have a good night, everybody.